Hey guys, what is up? Rapid Retrospect Games here, and today I'm going to be bringing you Scanner Sombre. This is from the creators of Prison Architect at Introversion Software. They were kind enough to offer us a sponsorship opportunity with this game, so I took a look at it and decided to go with it because I do think this is actually a pretty interesting game. I can't think of anything like it off the top of my head. And pretty much what you're going to be doing in this game is you start at the bottom of a cave system, and your only means of navigation is to use the scanner you have, and the scanner only illuminates pinpoints of light. So you have to explore by using these little tiny pinpoints of light throughout the entire game. And it's actually pretty well done, I gotta say. I can't think of another game that has a navigation tool like this, which is why I was interested in it. I was curious to see what they would do with the whole, in typical horror-ish type games, a lot of times they'll give you a flashlight to illuminate your pathway. But this, you have to you get these little just Dippin' Dots of light that are illuminated on the wall, and you have to manually scan everything. And they did a really good job with it. I was actually really surprised with it. It's horror-ish, which I liked. It's not full-blown horror, but it's got horror-like elements as you explore the cave system. And they did a pretty good job with it. But, yeah, we haven't done a commentary series in a bit. I've been in the process of moving. So this was just really good timing. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable game. If you're interested, we have a link at the bottom. It certainly helps out our channel if you go check out their game, and I do recommend it. So yeah, with that said, let's get the video series started, and I hope you enjoy. We'll also have a full game and a full no commentary walkthrough. So yeah, all the usual stuff, and I hope you all have a great day and enjoy the video series. Alright, so we've just kind of been dropped into the middle of things. Also, forgive if any big picture mode, the only way I could get this, I'm still working on my display setup, so I had to launch this in big picture mode for the HDMI switcher box to be able to recognize it with the Elgato, so apologies if there's any big picture mode things popping up. We got tape. I'm assuming that's our family. Oh, we can zoom in that way. Ooh, I really like this visual. One of the reasons I kind of went with, playing this game was because I liked the idea it had as far as, like, being able to scan the environment and create a sort of, I guess, you're discovering the environment through this scanner, and it's, I like that, like, I don't know, it's neat. It's a different way of kind of exploring, I suppose you'd say. I don't think I can think of another game off the top of my head that has this kind of visual style to it, as far as, like, the Dippin' Dot light show we've got going on here. No, I don't think I can think of another game that has... Normally I can think of something, but no, not in this case. Cave exploring, sure, but not exactly this. Now, if narcosis has taught me anything, it's that give up all hope. You'll die alone. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to you, but it's a very good possibility. Oh, wow, that's actually... I like this. You can actually see all the way back there, you know, where you've been. I was actually kind of worried for a second here. It might be a little bit difficult to explore simply because you kind of get lost in the maze of Dippin' Dots here, but... No, I like this. If this turns into The Descent, though, I'm out of here. I saw that movie. And the sequel. I'll never understand why certain horror movies get sequels. That's like those Children of the Corn movies. There's like 12 of them. Well, 10 in the original series, and then the reboot and the sequel to the reboot. Yeah, I really like this. Or the visual style, I should say. I'm not going to comment on the plot. I've not really seen it yet. Now, what do we got here? What are these scanners doing? They don't look like they're going to kill me. So that's at least a positive note, I guess. Let's take a step. Ooh, here we go. Aperture control, use the mouse wheel or QE to change. Okay, so we can choose between a widespread pulse or something more precise to get more details. We just need to figure out where we need to go. Got going on here. I'd say the widespread would probably be the one I use the most here, just so we can get kind of a barometer of where we're going. You know, I'm really glad they came up with that right there, because I would probably be lost otherwise. Or rather, it would be easy to get lost. Make sure we don't fall to our death. Generally, something you want to avoid. Unless you like playing a platformer from the early 2000s, in which case it's unavoidable. I'm pretty sure we were supposed to go back there, but I just want to check that cave here. I don't know if there's going to be any collectibles or anything like that. I don't think they'd have collectibles in a type of game like this, because it would be utterly maddening to try to find them all. Okay, we can't make the bridge. Okay, we were going the right way. Just wanted to make sure. Alright, up here. I just want to kind of make sure I don't plummet to my death. See, that's not good. Again, what good in any video game has exploring a cave ever brought? Seriously, it's always pain and suffering. They never did iron out all the glitches. Sometimes you'd see sensors echo for days. Earlier calibrations turn to ghost. Oh, that is a slight problem. That would be like using a flashlight and then turning it on, and then the ghost of your grandmother appears in the kitchen. Okay, so I was going the right way. Just messed up on a jump there. We might do a live stream of this too. I don't know. I just got, one of the reasons I've not done anything like that is I've been moving, so this is the first game I've got to play on a computer properly in quite a bit. I got to be honest. Get that widespread going. That's all I need is getting lost in a cave system. I'm trying to think if there's any game this reminds me of. If it was just a cave system, probably about every horror game ever made. But right now, I'm getting more of the, I don't know what kind of, like, if this is going to be, like, full-out horror or what exactly we're going to be getting as we play it. I've been walking into this kind of blind. But right now, I'm getting that kind of Narcosis vibe. I don't know if any of you all played Narcosis. That was a game that came out very recently. Pretty solid horror game. Apart from the fact that they tried to make giant crabs an enemy. Or something to be afraid of. And crabs just are inherently not scary. Okay, so... I almost want to try a running jump. You know what this actually reminds me of? Back in, like, the days when I first had a computer, or when I rarely could use a computer, I'd open up Paint and just, like, use the spray paint tool and just do all that fun stuff. That's actually what this kind of reminds me of. Yeah, I see that right there. We've got that. I'm just trying to think of how we get over there without careening to our death. Could I make a running jump? Alright, so... yeah, I just spent... you'll notice a little edit there. I spent an inhuman amount of time trying to make the jump. When the simple solution was to go left. So, yeah, I should have just... oh, okay. Not... okay, that was a thing that... okay, what is that? Is that like a... is that like a person falling? Kind of look like the silhouette of a person falling. Trying to see if we can't get it. I guess not. Oh well. Continue onward, I suppose. I'm really going to have to go through my Steam Big Picture mode to fix that. Shame you can't, I couldn't figure out how to get it to display to certain monitors. Yes, I did screw up that jump. That's why there's an edit. So yeah, I just screwed up like twice rapidly. I was making comments like, yeah, you know, I bet it would be pretty easy to fall to your death, and then I like moved about an inch too far and fell to my death. So the prophecy came true. But it looks like the scanner is going to be catching silhouettes of the ghosts. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to be encountering any lethal variations or what have you, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. We could really use something to scan a larger area, to be honest. Because it's getting a little bit difficult to navigate. Or to scan all this, I should say. Not really navigate, just like scanning everything to make sure you don't like fall to your death or something. Oh, speak of the devil. Well, that's nice. I guess ask and you shall receive. Can you get me a sovereign statue that they made for like Mass Effect? I can't find one of those. I mean, if we're granting wishes, we might as well grant another one. Oh yeah, this is going to help out quite a bit. Because I imagine this... Oh. I'm a little bit wary in going down ledges from earlier when I kept trying to slide down. I either tried to jump the gap or see if I could slide down somewhere. So I'm a little bit wary of ledges. I don't want to fall to my death. God, we are really at the freaking bottom of this cave system, aren't we? I'm very paranoid of navigating this tunnel system because I feel like I'm going to fall to my death several times. Yeah, you know what? We're going to leave that one in. See? It's you got to be careful. Like this, the way the scanner works, you have to make sure you're scanning the edges and everything. Otherwise, you're just going to plop to your death. That's what I've done that a few times now. They really make you kind of work to navigate because you have to make sure you're scanning like all of the surfaces you can that you can move on. Otherwise, you risk the very real possibility of like falling to your death. Like right here, I'm gonna scan this a little bit extra just to give me that little extra oomph and make sure I'm going the right way. I want to make sure I'm aware of the ledges. I do like the fact that also we can see where we've previously been, like through that like kind of blue silhouetted glow. I feel like that helps out a lot. I think if this game didn't have that, it would be a nightmare to navigate. But with that, you can kind of see where you've been very definitively. Which I appreciate. I appreciate the ability to not get lost in a network of caves. Yeah, let's make sure we get that edge. I messed up enough jumps to, you know, to be... See, I about hit that little bit of rock and about fell off. pressing forward. This is helpful, at least, in telling us if we're going the right direction. I feel like if you move more than, like, 100 steps in one direction, I think you're going the right way. Jeez, I'd be terrified if I was in the caves. I don't do caves or anything like that. You ain't gonna get me cave spelunking or whatever. I've seen The Descent. God, that movie was only okay. Sequel sucked. Anyway, onward, I suppose. Okay, save icon's a good sign. I don't think they'd save if I was going in just the complete wrong direction. Okay, make sure we gotta jump that. And okay. Does anyone, like, ever lean in their chair to, like, give themselves imaginary momentum when they're jumping in a video game? I seem to do that all the time. Like, I'll just, like, lean, like, nudge myself forward a little, like, subconsciously trying to help my in-game character. Oh, a temple. Ah. See, if you'd have watched AVP, you'd have known going into some sort of underground temple would have been a bad idea. You know? I mean, sure. On the positive side, you get to meet Lance Henriksen, and there's that one or two cool fight scenes, you know, with between the alien and Predator, but otherwise, it's awful. So, I avoid going down caves. And I also advise against going down caves. It just seems like a bad time for all. Someone should make a game about... Oh, that's stupid big picture mode. Someone should make a game about, like, traversing the French catacombs. Or the ones that are, like, Paris or whatever. That'd probably be terrifying. This has a very... It's... I'm trying to pinpoint on how I feel. It's, like, uneasy. Because it's not, like, straight horror. But I just don't like being underground, so... You know? Here's some water. I guess that's good. Oh! Of course this is where they perform the sacrifices. Maybe it's just a very large dining table. In the shape of, like, a sacrificial altar. Maybe those aren't, like, hanging instruments hanging from the ceiling. Maybe they're just upside-down coat hangers. You ever think of that? Maybe you've got this civilization misjudged. Huh? Maybe this isn't where they sacrifice. Maybe this is where they hang their laundry and, I don't know, have dinner. I really do like the look of this game. It's very visually pleasing, if nothing. Oh, and speak of the devil. Oh, hello, dear pagan gods that dwell within the cave. Oh, they just threw him off. Well. That does give you an idea of how many places we've been. Already. Man, this cave has such a pleasant backstory. This is our own fault, though. This is what we get for going into a cave system that has, like, large deer-headed pagan god statues. Alright, there ain't no Mewtwo down here, and, you know, this ain't no Cerulean cave. I see no reason to come down here, other than pain and suffering. Ah, we're at the prison. Is being in a cave system enough of a prison? I feel like that's its own special type of deal, you know? Really use that scan right now. Although I think we made it out of the prison. Yeah, okay. Alright, I think I'm not going in a circle. The fact that I'm still having to scan things and progressing forward makes me feel like we're making decent progress, although the narrowing passageways is not helping. The cultists slept and ate here. Well, you know, cultists need to eat and, you know, sleep too. Typically, they ingest poison and kill themselves, but, you know, you know, if I was God, I probably wouldn't answer a bunch of people in a cave either. I gotta be honest. Be like, go worship me on a beautiful mountain vista. Not in the middle, not in the cave. Ugh, it's squishy. I don't like squishy. The root of a tree, it looks like. That's almost ready. Probably shouldn't be doing that. Let's see where we are on the map. Ah. Alright, anytime I see a save thing, I'm going to assume I'm going in the right direction. I don't think the game would save otherwise. Is that rain? Odd. Well, no, it's probably... There's probably some water just leaking from the top, if I had to guess. I think that all these stalagmites might be in water. That's why it's scanning the way it's scanning. I think. I'm not 100%. Let's... I know we're supposed to go that way, but we're real quick. Get a better idea of... Yeah, it's water. Well, at the very least, we won't die of dehydration. So that's nice. I mean, nice is a relative term when being stuck underground in a cave system. Speaking of which... little bit. I can't tell if this is supposed to happen or... Well, obviously it's supposed to happen. I'm just saying I don't... We've got the disorientation now. Other than that... Okay, it looks like we're at the edge of the cave. Okay, so we need to navigate that, alright. Illuminate what we can here. I'm assuming there were a bunch of drowned people there. That's probably why the sensor was going, you know, haywire. Is that a cage? Yeah, it's a cage. As if being, like, trapped underground wasn't enough. On top of it, they're going to shove you in a cage. Wait. Let's back. Let's take about 20 paces back there, Padre. What is... scan going. Make sure there's not some other way we should be going. That's the lake we came from. Okay, so we came that way. Looks like a different... Oh. Yeah, we don't want to go in there. I might leave that in. So we have to navigate this without getting killed by... So we need to find landmass and hop on it. Otherwise, we're boned. Smart thing would be to wait. Just wait for our scanner to come back on. A little amount of time of water as we can by hopping. And we should be golden. Well, golden's a relative term when stuck in a cave system. You know, after the first, you know, I would say... let's see, how much did I get? Yeah, I would probably start believing this stuff if, like, I don't know, I went into the water and then the remnants of burned witches were trying to, like, drag me to my own watery grave. I think that's about the time I'd be like, yeah, you know, there's probably a grain of truth to this stuff. Probably. Again, this is why you don't go to cave systems. Caves are evil. They always have been. Doesn't matter, any type of fiction, it's a cave. Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay, so I misjudged. That's water. We don't want to go in water. Water is bad. So I need to try to navigate. Okay, that's solid ground, so as long as we're not in the water for too long, we're actually pretty golden, from what I can tell. They've not been cruel enough to throw one of these spectral ghost things at us while on land. I feel like I would have a little bit of trouble circumventing that if that were to happen. Which is why they'll probably do it eventually. One more second, get our scanner back. Step back for a second. Oh, excellent. More water. Ironic that the witches that were like burned to death are coming at me in the water. Probably could have used some water. Maybe that's why they're mad. Can't drink the water. 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 Water, but a small patch of land. Okay, we're good. You know, if you ignore the death and pain and suffering, it's actually quite a pretty game. Not many things that look like it, I'll give it that. Okay, so okay, that was close. See where I'm at. See, the only thing I'm worried about is I might not be able... I think I can hop up here. We can make that one. We should be good. I think we might be golden. Maybe. Thought for a second that was water and I was about to have a mild panic attack. Okay, cool. A little bit confused there. It's kind of nuts just to see, like, look back and see that the waves of blue, that's where we've been. That's like where we start in that corner all the way back there, and that's kind of neat to see. I'm very, what is that? Well, first, this is me crashing into the wall. Oh. Well, that's nice. Not being chased by labyrinthian horrors or some sort of Cthulhu-like deity. That's nice. Got a little pleasant soundtrack going on. That's nice. Let's not come back to this cave ever again, but that's nice. Could we just stay on the boat so we don't have to get out and be chased by things? Graceful. Colliding right into the rocks. Even the game stopped the music for a second, like, are you stupid? This is the section where you don't get mauled by horrors in the cave systems. Enjoy it. really do like the visual style of this game. Well, if this is the end, that was an enjoyable experience for the most part. I did not. The only thing that I had a problem with was that first, and this was on me, was that first little section in which I thought I had to jump. That was kind of dumb of me. In all fairness. But other than that, I really, it's an interesting game. The visual style alone, I can't think of another game that has this look consistently throughout. I really can't. Like, you'll see, like, Detective Vision or something in, like, the Arkham games where you get this, like, glowing blue hue. But I've never seen a game that primarily involves using, you know, a little scanning device to, you know, illuminate your way. And by that, I mean, you know, you have to scan the environment, otherwise you can't see, period. It's not like a flashlight in a typical horror game where you get that little cone of vision, but you know, you can still see without the flashlight, just not well. This is not. Then again, it might not be ending. I don't know how long this game is. If I keep bumping into walls, who knows? It might go on forever. Yeah, we're definitely getting into that big picture mode. Game got eerily quiet again, so maybe our excursion is not quite over. Or maybe we die horrifically here. That's a very likely possibility. Oh no, whenever music gets all somber and ominous, that's typically not a good sign. Is that supposed to be like an exit? Or is that like a continuation of the cave system? Alright, I think we hop off here. I was kind of hoping we'd just ride the boat the rest of the way and then, like, it'd flow out into like a beautiful lake and there'd be like a swan to pick us up and be like, hello, rabbit, I'm here to take you away from this awful cave. And then we'd get like pizza afterwards. But, you know, continuing the horror of... What happened to you? Is that an axe in your hand? Why? You know, call me crazy, but I'm going to assume that one or two of them might be trapped down here. Just call me crazy. You know, on the plus side, if you get out of here alive, On the plus, you've got a device that can like help you scan for ghosts. You can start your own, ghost hunter thing. I mean, assuming we get out of this cave and aren't mutilated by some sort of spectral anomaly, you know? Assuming that. Again, I was hoping that that little boat ride would take us to safety and freedom and pleasantness, not this. But just like many things in life, they just don't go the way you expect. I was right, though. That was an axe of sorts. It was a pickaxe. Makes sense. Miners. But nice to have this tab thing over there. That helped us find a few little pathways. Let's go ahead and give this a nice little scan going. That. Good to know. Yeah, let's not go into water. Alright, water is a no-no. Giving us an idea. Always something simple. There we go. Something simple. I've come to that conclusion a lot playing games. If you can't figure out something, usually it's just something simple. I was looking for a way to, like, slide down that side with all the miners over there. You know, even if it's not real, we got chased by, like, witches in the cave system, so, you know, just, at that point, just, you know, just accept it. Just move on. Accept that your life at this particular moment in time is awful. Okie dokie. Well, see, at least this guy hasn't been, like, viciously mauled or fallen off a cliff and died. See? He's got... It's not all that bad. See? You're overreacting. definitely a more unique experience to just, like, instead of using the full scan, to just kind of navigate using, like, the beam or whatever. Like, it just looks like we platformed our way up here when you just look at the lines. No, we came with our magic scanning device. Pretty decently prepared, all things considered. Of course, the game's just not going to let us take the elevator out. Now we've got more cave exploring. If this turns into My Bloody Valentine 3D, I will be just disheartened. The movie sucked anyway. Try to get an idea of what we've got going on here. Okay, went the right way. I'm assuming we saw, anytime you see a save icon or something, I just always assume I'm progressing. What do we have here? Oh! Not been here before. Okay, it looks like there's going to be 2 areas that we have to go to for button presses. It looks like. Maybe? Let me check. Okay, it doesn't look like I've been that way, so... Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm assuming we're going the right way. It's never that simple. Alright, so let's go around. Let's follow this. Maybe that's not what I was supposed to do? Or maybe it is. We're heading back around. Wait, no, that's the... crap. Now we're in a little bit of a confusing pickle. Unless I'm just supposed to go this way. In which case, I guess not so much confusing pickle. And make sure I'm supposed to hop down. That's what it looks like. And then we circle back around. Alright. I think I find this material mode more helpful than the other mode, simply because we get a better look. I have someone with a profile picture vibe funny. That's just sad. Unless it breaks down like 10 feet up. Which is a very realistic possibility. Now, see, you tricked me last time with swelling music. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're going to get hit with a pickaxe partway up, and then, like, Jason Voorhees is going to drag us to hell or something. Although this is probably the most promising. See, this is like that moment in the original Outlast where you're getting, like, wheeled to freedom, and then it's like, on the other hand, eternal suffering and damnation does have its perks. this is like the type of music that plays before the mummy. Like, I don't know, it steals your organs. How many times do we have to relive this? Well, that's an excellent question. Let's not go to the cave system again after this, alright? Alright, we just... and the guilt. Well, you know, we'll be able to see your family once we get out of here. Just don't go to underground. How did we even get? Oh. Don't know. Wait, have we? We're dead. If I had to guess how you died, it was probably some falling to your death.